Alright guys, so today I am going to be doing a Christmas themed cha-ching. So before I start this video, want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Hope that you are having a good day, had a good day. Pretty sure I'm going to put this up on Christmas Day. And I also wanted to thank anyone who has sent me a Christmas card. I did receive a few Christmas cards this year. I personally am pretty bad about sending out Christmas cards, so I apologize for that. But you know, when I do send out like packages to subscribers and stuff, I try to keep it themed when I send a note, like it'll be Christmas themed and what have you. I am going to get into the Christmas themed cha-ching. So all of this stuff is Christmas related items that have sold recently on eBay. So the first thing that I have is a set of 6 shiny bright glass Christmas ornaments. Those sold for $23.50. I also sold a Pinocchio ornament for $25.99. The next item actually did go to a subscriber named Christy. She purchased a Fenton glass Santa for $89.99. Then the next item was for a lot of 5. These were by Old World Christmas. They had little angels on them, glass angel ornaments. Those sold for $26.99. I haven't been saying where I got stuff. Those came from a yard sale. They were in a baggie for 10 cents. I also sold a set of 2 Pixie knee huggers for $29.99. Those came from an auction. Same with this next item, also came from an auction. This was for a Lennox Chili Trap Penguin Salt and Pepper Shaker set. Those sold for $39.99. Sold a candle holder set that spelled out the word Noel for $39.99. I think Eric actually picked this up at an antique store. He had stopped at one day when I wasn't along with him, and I remember he texted me asking if he should get them because I think they were less than $10, which is kind of crazy for something like that. Next I have a Lefton girl holding a candy cane. She sold for $19.99. This next item was something that just was in like a box lot of stuff that I got at an auction, but they were all kind of like Christmas themed paper doilies. They were still in their packaging. A lot of people like to use these for like if they do baked goods and stuff like that, to sit down on like a pedestal or even inside a box kind of thing, and then put like small cakes and cupcakes and stuff on top. And other people craft with them as well. Those sold for $19.99. I also sold a Kurt Adler. This was a fiber optic angel tree topper for $22.99, and that came from an auction. I think I paid $1 for that. I also sold a Wedgwood trinket dish. This had a Christmas tree on the top. That sold for $39.99, and this was a recent auction winning. Same with this next item. This I recently picked up at Goodwill. I'm pretty sure we paid $4.99 for it, but it was an Eldritch Pottery Santa Claus, and he sold for $49.99. I also sold a vintage Napco Christmas Girl planter for $39.99. She originally came from an auction. She did have an issue with her. Had she not had the issue, she might have sold for higher than that because she is a desirable one. All right, the next item was a Christmas stocking. This was actually a La Creuset Christmas stocking. I picked this up at Goodwill like a long time ago. This took a long time to sell, but it did go for $19.99. We also sold a Hallmark nativity set. This thing was really large. It wasn't like a small nativity set. I'd say the pieces were about like yay big. Won that set at an auction, and it sold for $199.99. So that one was a good one. Next item also came from an auction. This was by Port Mirion. Christmas related. They're salt and pepper shakers. The artist name is Susan Wingett, and she did a whole line for Port Mirion that was called, like, I'm pretty sure it was called A Christmas Story, and it's all, you know, Christmas related, and some of those pieces can sell really well. So these are the salt and pepper shakers, and they sold for $29.99, but we have sold other pieces of hers in that line already. Also sold a Carlton Cards Garfield ornament for $35.99. This Anna Lee deer I recently got at the thrift store. I paid either $2.99 or $3.99 for it, maybe $1.99, I don't know. Typically Goodwill's prices are $1.99, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, you know, and so on. But that sold for $22.09. I also sold a vintage Christmas card. This was unused. It had never been written in. That sold for $9.99. I actually had a couple of these in my antique booth, and I sold some in there as well. I sold a double-sided Empire Santa face blow mold for $99.99. That came from an auction. Same with this next item. This was for just a little tiny pair of Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus thimbles. They were little bisque thimbles. Those sold for $12.99. There's people out there that collect thimbles. Does anybody here collect thimbles? I don't collect thimbles, but these were really stinking cute. I sold a plastic nativity for $39.99. This next item also recently came from Goodwill. It was the terracotta hand-painted fairy lamp with the snowmen all around. That sold for $39.99, and I think I paid $3.99 or $4.99. I sold a Kurt Adler ballerina ornament for $25.99, and I got that for $1 at a yard sale. I sold a little bisque Santa Claus for $14.99. That was on a tray of some Christmas stuff I won at an auction. The next three items went to a subscriber named Sandra. She purchased a set of 3 vintage beaded and sequin red bell ornaments for $19.99. She also purchased a set of 3 jumbo shiny bright ornaments for $29.99. And then also a set of 4 West Germany Christmas ornaments for $19.99. Next item came from a yard sale. This was a Kurt Adler mini snowman ornaments. Those sold for $12.99, and I think I paid 50 cents or $1 for those. This is a set of, this was the 12 Days of Christmas cookie cutters by Chilton. These were still in a box. They sold for $19.99, and they came from, I think it was that private pick that Eric and I had gone to. I'm pretty sure it came out of that house. Next item came from a yard sale. This was for another large like plastic nativity scene. That one sold for $29.99. I sold a vintage little pixie elf climbing a ladder. This was a little ornament that sold for $9.99. Probably came on a tray of some Christmas stuff I won at an auction. I sold an Eden the Snowman plush for $35.99. I'm pretty sure I picked him up at a yard sale as well. Eden is a great plushie brand. A lot of those vintage plushies can sell well. The snowman in particular, the bigger the snowman, the better. He was a larger one. I actually saw a smaller version at the thrift store, but when I looked up the small one, it just really wasn't selling as fantastic as larger ones, but there is a bigger one than the one here that I sold that sells a lot better as well. I sold a vintage rubber face Santa Claus plush for $59.99. He more than likely came from an auction. I also sold, this was by Buyer's Choice. They call these Bakerkins. They're just like little figures of, they look like bakers, and typically they're all holding something specific like a wooden spoon, a mixing bowl, that type of thing. This one here sold for $29.99. I got quite a couple of them at an auction one time, but I've sold them before in the past, so I knew what they were. I also sold a West Germany Santa ornament for $12.99. That green seed beaded tree that I got at the antique store, I paid, with the discount, I think the tree was like $4 or so, and then I think there was a discount on top of it, so I think I paid like $3 and some change for it, and it sold for $20.50. This next item I had for a very long time. This was a Department 56 brownies ornament. I picked these up at Salvation Army, and Eric and I haven't been to a Salvation Army in literal years. But anyway, it sold $49.99. I think I was paying $1.99, $2.99 for them. I sold, this was a vintage by Bright Star musical bell. It was a plastic bell, and then it had this bulb on the inside that you pull down, and then the string would raise back up into the bell and it would play a musical Christmas tune. That sold for $28. I put that on auction and it sold for $28. Again, I think that was just a random, came with some stuff I won at an auction type deal. I sold a piece of the Avon White Bisque Nativity of the Standing Angel. This one is a pretty consistent seller. If you come across pieces of that Avon Bisque Nativity, some of the pieces can sell a little better than others if you're only finding pieces. And the Standing Angel seems to be one people consistently are looking for. That sold for $39.99. I sold a German fisherman smoker for $59.99. That came from an auction. Sold a Hallmark Countdown to Christmas ornament for $22.99. That was from a yard sale. Let's see. I sold a Shiny Bright Shooting Star ornament for $12.99. I sold a Sunset Christmas is Coming cross stitch for $22.99. This next item I just randomly found, again, probably box lot type of auction thing. It was a miniature Hallmark Christmas stocking, like real tiny like, and it was still on its original packaging. And when I looked it up, because I look up everything, so like when I win potentially like box lots or trays of stuff at an auction and there's things on it that I didn't necessarily, you know, that's not why I was bidding on it, I still look everything up because you will be so surprised. You can't just automatically assume something is worthless unless you look it up. And when I was just kind of like tossing this to the side like all the time, like no one, like who's looking for this, you know what I mean? Then I looked it up and like they were consistently selling, and there's not many listed, so there's not a whole lot of, you know, like competition to sell your item because there's just not many to choose from, you know what I mean? And it sold pretty quickly for, what was it, $12.99. So it's just crazy, you know, everyone's looking for something different. I sold 8 Snoopy Christmas fabric, these made aprons, so it was just the fabric and you cut it out to make it. These were 8 panels, and someone purchased all the ones that I had, so their total was $100, and they came from an auction. I also sold a German snowman smoker for $49.99, also auction. There, one night it was like a bunch of German smokers. I also sold a Primitives by Kathy. This was a felt banner that spelled out Merry Christmas. That came from a yard sale, sold for $23.99. I sold a Christmas Traditions porcelain set. These were fairly large. Eric was scared to death of shipping them, but we've shipped a set before that were by the same brand, very similar. But you know, it was 3 pieces, very heavy pieces, and we won these at an auction. I remember nobody wanted them, so we paid $1 for the set, and they sold for $79.99, and they got there. So thank goodness for that. We sold a Kurt Adler. Whoever purchased these purchased both of these. These were Kurt Adler. They called these Angel Heights figures. The first one was a choir that sold for $19.99, and then the other one was a band that sold for $19.99. Eric got these at a yard sale a long time ago, so those took a while to sell as well. Sold a Reagan House Santa Claus for $39.99, and I picked that up at a yard sale. Next item also came from a yard sale. This was for a vintage board game, still sealed. It was called the Christmas board game. I had never seen it before in my life, and the fact that I had never seen it before, it was Christmas related and it was still sealed, I just took it. I think I paid $5 for it. It sold for $99.99. Nice item went to a subscriber named Amanda. This was a blown glass face. I'm pretty sure it was like a ballerina face, probably from like the Nutcracker, and that sold for $19.99. I'm pretty sure that came from a yard sale as well. And I also sold a set of 4 Putz diorama ornaments for $39.99. I think those came from an auction. And that is everything for this Christmas CHING. So as far as sales go, my sales are up 83.5%. So, you know, during Christmas, and even now, it is, what, today is Friday, and I'm still getting a lot of sales. And years prior, you know, I would sometimes take a little bit of a break from eBay around the holidays just so, you know, there wasn't any issues of people upset because they didn't get their stuff before Christmas and that kind of thing. And I didn't really put brakes on eBay this year. Still was listing, for the most part, the past week, I was only listing buy it now type stuff. I wasn't putting anything on auction because I didn't want stuff ending, you know, like on Christmas or something like that, where maybe, you know, someone couldn't get a chance to bid because, you know, they were too busy doing other things, obviously. So I just was listing stuff as buy it nows, and I still feel like sales were really good. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, that sales continue to be really good after Christmas. You know, people will be doing after Christmas shopping, using gift cards and that type of thing. So hopefully the sales continue really well. As far as the antique booth, that is still going really well as well. So that's exciting. Just the other day, Eric and I went in and put some more stuff in, some more Christmas stuff for any of like the last minute Christmas shoppers. And then, you know, after Christmas, we'll probably start pulling the Christmas stuff out and putting some new stuff in that's not Christmas related, and then starting to think about, you know, the next holiday, Valentine's Day, which I don't have a ton of Valentine's Day stuff, but you know, I do have some things. So all in all, that is doing really well, and I'm happy about that. So hopefully everyone, like I said, has a really nice Christmas and you get anything that you wanted for Christmas. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.